What's up, you guys? It's PhiDX. Bandai Namco just put out the version 1.12 patch notes, and I don't think it's very good news. So I've given a quick summary in the notes below if you want to just skim that. We'll save you time from reading all this. But I want to talk about the updates themselves, talk about my thoughts, and then kind of the roadmap of where Tekken is going leading into Season 2, and then where my channel will be going in response because of these changes. So quick cliff notes of these changes. New Battle Pass 30th anniversary. You get 100 free coins, 600 coins in the Premium Pass. Made Outfit Pack, which I'm a little disappointed and underwhelmed by. I feel like I've seen modders put out better made costumes. Maybe it's just the whack color, but I feel like they could have done a better job here. Apparently, there are 5 special ghost battles to earn special character art in-game. I also have a problem with that because if you start the game after Season 2 drops, like this update expires, are you going to not get that fan art? You know what I mean? So I think limited edition character art, especially if you're trying to reward fan art, is kind of rough as well. The one good change I'm a big fan of, though, is the tournament settings. If you've ever watched like offline tournaments during the last Tekken World Tour, there will be times where players will rematch and it goes to the same stage, and you're not supposed to do that with the tournament rules. So they're programming these rules in-game, but also with like individual configurable options, right? So the preset settings will probably apply to the current Tekken World Tour, like things like disabling the pause menu or making you hold the button to pause, confirmation for rematches, like a little dialogue versus just instantly rematching, and things like rematch with random stage, which is, again, part of the Tekken World Tour rules. Now, one thing I would like to see as like a wish list thing is like, what if like during tournament settings you can't play online, you can't earn trophies, but you can play with the DLC character costumes, like the legacy costumes from old Tekkens. You know what I mean? I think that would be a good wish list type setting that would allow tournaments to be more interesting to watch, because there are so many old Tekken costumes that people just can't wear because they're locked behind DLC, like the old Steve costumes. So I hope they consider adding like an exhibition option like that. I know the concern would be income, obviously, but anyways. Now for the bad news. Well, they're doing some rank match updates, so that's a good thing. But now for the bad news. They had balance adjustments planned for this patch, which I didn't expect. I had a hunch they would save the updates for Season 2, but they had balance adjustments planned. They didn't go through with them because from the time of this video is being recorded, there are 2 big tournaments in less than a week. And I do support this, right? 32,000 euro prize for the EU Tekken Cup Finals. I believe in stability for competitive players who are like spending the most time grinding the game, and should be respected because I think the competitive scene does bring a lot of eyes and attention and hype to Tekken. So I think this respect for the players is a good thing. For reference, in the Tekken 7 Tekken World Tours, they used to drop the season updates right in the middle of the season. So like after EVO, but before the finals. So there would be huge meta shakeups right as people were in like post-peak competition season, but it was still in competition season. So I do support this philosophy in general. What I don't support is that there was apparently going to be a mid-March update in version 1.113. 1.113. Version 1.13 was going to be a pre-season 2 update, but they are not putting the balance changes there either, with the rationale that Season 2 will be coming shortly after. And I think this is a big fumble. This whole paragraph is just brutal, because while we should respect the pro players and their grind, I think people are starving for changes, man. People are jumping to different games. You hear it all the time. People talking about Virtua Fighter, people talking about Marvel Rivals. There are lots of games for people to play. Not giving any like gameplay updates in that time is brutal. And this is coming from someone, me, who is a big fan of conservative patching. I've talked about it for most of the season. I think that conservative patching is cool because it lets people develop more interesting options, understandings, and like gameplay. Emergent gameplay comes out if you give people time with the game, right? So I'm generally a fan of less updates. However, the off-season is the perfect time to test these updates. You look at how League of Legends does it. As soon as the ranked season ends, people don't have points on the line and all that. It's the perfect chance to test huge sweeping changes, right? Now, to be fair, It seems like Season 2 will drop with a bit of time before the official tour starts. But I really think this is a big ball fumble where there's no tournaments to watch. There's no professional gameplay happening because it will have just concluded with the end of February. Perfect time to drop a bunch of balance updates, test them out, and see what people think. Gauge how effective these changes are and see if the developers are on point or not. I think it's a huge fumble. I'm really, really disappointed that the mid-March update will not implement the balance changes that I didn't even know were going to be there. I thought Season 2 might drop mid-March. Now, with the release of this new Battle Pass, it actually does kind of tease the Season 2 release date. If we had to guess, the Battle Pass is usually 60 days, right? So the patch is happening today, February 17th. That means April 17th might be the release date for Season 2. And that is 2 months away. That is so insane to me. Now, for what it's worth, again, I'm a fan of less frequent sweeping adjustments to give players time to develop their characters and develop tech and system understanding and things like that. But we have a history of monthly updates since Tekken 7 or Tekken 8 launched. And I think that's a good thing. I think monthly updates at the least are a good thing. Quality of life changes, system changes, things like that. I do generally agree with the idea of less balanced patches for the reasons I've stated. However, I'm repeating myself at this point. No tour, off season, it's the perfect time to do it. I'm so disappointed. Let's move on. When will we hear about Season 2? They're going to have a Tekken talk a week from the time this video comes out. They're talking about the Season 2 launch timing. They're going to talk about their vision of the balance direction and adjustments. I think there's going to be a lot of attention around then. Ranked match changes. And I'm praying this is like a ELO/MR system like Street Fighter's doing. Pro players like Knee, Ulsan, Edge, tons of people have been tweeting how ranked is just, there's no incentive to stay in it. Pro players are farming like the max rank points, like 999,999, but they have no leaderboard to fight for. There's just no reason for them to stay in the game, and I think that's really disappointing. Again, because the highest level of play, I think, is what keeps people engaged in the game. Obviously, the casual fan base really matters, and is the lifeblood of the game, like locals, things like that. But having footage of the pro players, having them stay at the top of their game, having people fight over leaderboard spots, I think is a lot of hype that is just being missed out on. And then finally, this Tekken Talk will talk about the next DLC character. Now, there's a vague hope that maybe Season 2 comes sooner just because historically the Tekken Talks are like a week or two before a major update. But again, we have the 60-day Battle Pass that they're just releasing. So I really do think if we had to guess, April 17th will be the Season 2 date. If we're lucky, it will be sooner. Wow, I'm just extremely disappointed by the lack of balance updates. And again, in my videos before, every update before, I've been pretty consistent with this. I believe in less sweeping changes more often. I believe in less often sweeping changes. I believe minimal patching lines up with my philosophy for like competitive game development. I prefer that. I have supported that the devs respect pro play and want to do a bunch of changes at the start of the tour and then minimal changes throughout the rest of the tour to really let the meta settle. I've supported that. I'm consistent in that. If they go with that framework, though, the off-season is a crucial time for big changes. And if Season 2 is dropping on April 17th, that only leaves like 2 or 3 weeks before the tour kicks off at EVO Japan. And I don't think 3 weeks is enough for the meta to settle either. So, as much as I've agreed with the decision-making thus far to respect pro play and not make sweeping changes that affect the players that much, they're going to have to choose. Are you going to do updates in the off-season or are you going to do it during the pro season? If I had to pick one, it should be the off-season. It's the perfect time when casual fans don't have tournaments to watch and would be more excited by sweeping changes to the game over and over. So, all I have to say last is the Season 2 changes better be big in order to bring people back, which we can expect it to be because, again, Season 1 was kind of like Tekken 8.0, and the 0.0 version of every Tekken is historically extremely different from the mainline game that results from that testing period. So Season 2, there's a lot riding on this. And I try not to be overdramatic. I try not to be sensationalist. in the actual content. My thumbnails and titles, of course, are sensationalist. But in the actual content, I try to be pretty level-headed and I try to not be too extreme. But I think there's a lot riding on Season 2. With this much delay, this much waiting, with so much competition coming out with other fighting games, Tekken is going to have to really nail this Season 2 landing. They're going to really have to nail the Tekken World Tour. Otherwise, oh, it's a tough time to be a Tekken fan, man. Not going to lie. Hopefully you enjoyed this kind of video as much as you could, despite the news. Let me know in the comments what you think. Leave a like if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe for more. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.